Hey guys, KFunk16 here, and this isn't a heavily requested video, but it is a very sought after video. Um, Recently, I've gotten 3 AEGs and 2 GBBs from a trade, and 2 vests and a bunch of mags and stuff. Don't worry, I didn't trade my walk, I didn't trade any airsoft guns, I traded my guitars, but so what I got was a G&G GR15 blowback with Noveski upgrades. Man, that thing is beast. I'm going to start running AEGs now since I fell in love with that gun. I got the Jinpeng or JP FAMAS. And I've gotten the Cybergun Thompson. I also got a KWA USP Compact and a Wii M9 gas blowback. The Wii, no, not Wii M9, sorry, SOCOM Gear M9, and I got a Condor MOPC with mag pouches and stuff, etc. And I got a Matrix SDEU vest. I will make videos on all that stuff later, but I felt that the FAMAS video would be the most important. It's the disassembly of the Tokyo Marui Jinpeng FAMAS, or the Cybergun FAMAS, to get down to the gearbox. So let's get started. Let's get started by removing the mag, and then removing the handguard, which you should be familiar with if you have a FAMAS. So what you're going to want to do is, flip this. Oops. Flip this towards you. That is when it's off safety. Then push it to the forward position, and your handguard should slide right off like that. Okay. The next thing you're gonna want to do is there is 3 screws, 1 right there and 2 right here, that you're going to want to remove. Keep in mind that this is only my second time disassembling this, so I am not responsible for you damaging your gun. I am doing this because, well, I'm making this video because I cannot find any YouTube videos on Facebook that show how to disassemble the FAMAS down to the gearbox, and I have not been able to find any guides or anything online. And I'm watching reviews and stuff of the AEG FAMASes on YouTube, and the comment section is spammed with please disassemble, or please make a video on how to disassemble. So yeah, this is why I'm making it. So you know, I know not a lot of my viewers are here because of the FAMAS, but you know, hopefully I'll get some new viewers. So you remove the front outer barrel part. I am missing the front sight. These guns were used, but you know, still, he gave me a scope riser, so I'm not a scope on there. I'm turning this into a DMR. Okay, so after you get that, you're gonna want to flip the handguard, trigger guard out like that. That'll be for the a step ahead further on. So you're gonna want to flip this down. It's a little compartment area, so you can store whatever you want. You're gonna want to get a Phillips head and reach down in there and unscrew it. It's just like a real AR. If you're familiar with taking apart real steel ARs, this is how you take apart the grip. There should be 1 screw underneath there, and then you pull it right off. Let's put that aside. Next up, I'm doing a lot of these steps out of order because honestly it doesn't really change anything. It's just how I took it apart the first couple times. Well, I said it was my second, but you know, I took it apart and then put it back together, and now I'm taking it apart again. So, you know, around 3 times. You're gonna want to take out this back screw on the top. Okay, set that aside. Then your butt plate comes out. Okay, so put that aside. Next, you know what, you could just reattach this. It's bothering me. It's getting in the way. Next, there's 2 screws next to the selector switch. Let me focus on that. There's 1 screw right here where my thumb is, and 1 more back here. You're going to want to unscrew those. But when you put them back, be very careful because I cracked mine already. This whole gun is basically plastic, so you're not going to want to over torque any of the screws, because if you do, you might crack the plastic. And I previously recorded the gearbox, opening the gearbox. So don't get confused with how I talk in the video, because what do you call it? I talk about how because I record the gearbox first and then I put it back together, then I did this. So it might be a little out of order for you. What's really strange, see, I'll show the gearbox video, is that it's a red motor. Stock motors are not red. What's really weird is that this one came with a super high torque Echo 1 motor. It has extreme torque. This thing is crazy. And it came with a metal bearing spring guide, which is not stock. So this has been upgraded. Again, like I did get this from a previous owner. So next up, under here, it might be hard to see. Right there where my finger is pointing, here, right here, you're gonna want to unscrew that, because it's a little harness for the wiring. You're gonna want to take that apart, because next we're gonna remove the upper from the lower receiver. So you don't want that wire harness to get in the way. So after you take apart the wire harness, you can remove the wiring. It's free right here. So next up, let's remove the upper from the lower. To remove the upper in the lower section, you are going to, see, like again with the high torque motor, it just sucked that screw out from about 2 or 3 inches away, and the magnets were so strong they just sucked the screw in right there. Okay, next you're going to want to look for this screw on the carry handle, on the very base of the carry handle. You're going to want to unscrew that. Watch out, there is a hex nut on the other side that it attaches to, so you're not going to want to lose that. So put your finger on it on the other side. It's a very long screw, so just be patient and just keep unscrewing that. So yeah, let's see. I will be doing a video review on all these guns, but I just felt that this is the most important out of all of them to get to, because it is very heavily sought after. Okay, so after you remove that, now you're ready to take apart the upper and the lower receivers. It is a little bit tricky at first, because see, you just slide it forward. At first, I thought you just slide it all the way forward, but then it gets caught right here. The charging handle gets caught. So what you're going to want to do is tilt it upwards, like that. Be careful of your inner barrel in the front. So you're going to want to tilt it upwards. Be careful, do not bend your inner barrel, and just slide that thing off. It's very tricky, because as you're sliding that off, the thing contacts the barrel like that. You don't want to push or apply too much downward pressure and bend the inner barrel. But I highly doubt it, since it's all plastic and this is metal. But still, the inner barrel is very important in the accuracy, so just be very careful. Next, what you're going to want to do is to flip the gun to the other side and remove the charging handle. To do that, you unscrew these 2 screws. So yeah, you unscrew these 2 screws all the way. Wow, these are long screws. I'll get back to you. Okay, so after you remove those 2 screws, lift the charging handle up. Then you can slide this bottom part off, and then you can remove the spring. Okay, don't worry about this part on the top right here. Don't worry about that. You have to further disassemble it and to remove that. So next up, you're going to remove this, which is the rear sight post. You're going to want to remove it. Again, this has a hex nut on the other side, so put your finger on the other side so you don't lose it. And it's a pretty long screw, so just be patient and unscrew it. So yeah, like I got about $1,000 of airsoft gear and guns and stuff, about $1,000 worth, because I traded him $1,000 worth of guitars and stuff. Because I don't remember if you could remember from my previous videos, my red Les Paul and all those guitars in the background. But yeah, I traded those. Sadly, like I did love those guitars. It's just that ever since high school started for me, like just some stuff happens and yeah, didn't have that much time for guitar playing, so I kind of stopped playing guitar, and then I haven't played for like a year. I'll still be able to pick one up and play, but it. And then this guy wanted them. He was a drummer for 11 years, so I know that he would truly appreciate the guitars, and I would appreciate the guns. But yeah, if you don't care, then whatever. So after you move those 2 screws on either side, you're gonna want to lift this up and then scoot it backwards, because you want to scoot it up to get over the hop-up dial, and then you're gonna want to scoot it backwards, and there you can start to see the gearbox, the beauty. So set that plastic part aside. Next up, now you're gonna want to unlatch that and unscrew this screw right here. Okay, should come out fairly easy. And then next up, you're gonna want to, let me see. You're gonna want to unplug this cable. Then you're gonna want to take apart these screws right here. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and that one to remove this side of the plate. So I'll get back to you once I remove all those screws. Okay, so I've removed all those screws. You're going to want to hold from here and right here and lift straight up. Now there's nothing on this side, so you don't have to worry about it. Now that's one side plate of the lower receiver. And now you can start to see the gearbox, the trigger mechanism, the hop-up unit. Let me focus on that. The hop-up unit and all its fun stuff. Mag release. So once you wait, let's take one quick moment. Since this is just a warning, since this is Tokyo Marui's first AEG, well, like the world's first AEG, the gearbox is very big and bulky. Not all the parts are compatible with parts nowadays, but I'll tell you what I do know is compatible. The JP and Cybergun FAMAS, they use a short type motor, but these are soldered on there, so I'm guessing you're gonna have to, I'm guessing you're gonna have to remove the soldering with a soldering tool, and then rewire the box. The gears are different. I heard that the lowest gear, I forgot what it's called, the spur gear, I think, is a version 7, and the sector gear and the bevel gear is version 2 or 3. And then yeah, the tappet plate is proprietary, cutoff lever is proprietary, nozzle is, I think, replaceable with a version 2 or 3, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on any of these. I do not have spare. Well, I'll check later on with spare version 2 and 3 and 7 gearboxes to be sure. But the cylinder, I heard, is not compatible with anything because it is longer. Spring guide is you can modify a version 3 to fit it. Yeah, if there's anything. Oh yeah, and it does take regular AG barrels and buckings and nubs. So next up, what you're gonna want to do is to lift the that little trigger switch thing off from the trigger. Then you are going to want to flip the gun over. These might fall out. These little silver pieces might fall out, but it's okay. I'll show you where to put them back. So, oh yeah, you can take this part now. You can take that off. What you're going to want to do, oh yeah, and the hop-up arm. Sorry. Seems so unprofessional, because I'm not. What you're going to want to do now is remove, here, let me tell you first, that screw, and a last screw right back here. Okay? See, as you can see, there's the Echo 1 motor, and it's soldered. So I don't have a soldering tool, so you know that's not me. And the previous owner did not tell me anything about the upgrades, so I'm pretty sure either, I don't know, they ran out of JP motors, and then they just added an Echo 1 motor for me, because they're extremely nice, and they know K-Funk 16 is awesome. Or they, or I am a third owner. Like a guy previously owned this, upgraded it, sold it to that guy, then he traded it to me without knowing the insides, or something, you know, whatever. Because it's not supposed to come with a metal bearing spring guide, and it's not supposed to, definitely not supposed to come with an Echo 1 motor. But all this stuff for free. So yeah, that's what's good. You're gonna want to flip it over. Be careful, hold everything in place. So you're going to want to slide the gearbox backwards, and there you go, there's the gearbox. I'll put that aside, and I'll edit the clip where I take apart the gearbox right after this one. And then after you have that done, you can remove the barrel. Oh wait, no, sorry, you can't remove the barrel yet. To remove the barrel, you are going to want to remove this screw right here that I'm pointing to, that screw, and that screw. And then the whole barrel assembly and outer barrel assembly should come right out. And then after the gearbox video, I'll edit in the disassembly of the hop-up unit, because I did that earlier. As you can see, it's a very high torque motor. Sorry if I mix up some words, or you know, have a lot of pauses and stuff, or like awkward silences. It's because while we were recording, as you can tell from the wobble and stuff, this was not recorded using a tripod. My little brother was holding this, so he accidentally covered up the microphone. A lot of the audio is messed up. But right here, as you take apart the gearbox, since it's soldered on, you're going to want to be careful about of the red wire. You're not going to want to rip that. What I found was a greenish gold bearing spring guide, which is very weird of this gun. It's not supposed to come with a bearing spring guide. It's supposed to come with like a green polycarbonate one. You know, this, what I'm thinking is that this was pre-upgraded prior to when I got it. Spring seems to be the stock spring. Since I did chrono it, it was shooting at around 330, 350, and then a shot up to 380. The reason for that was because the compression, the air seal was very bad. It leaks out a lot of air from the piston head O-ring, but I did replace it. Let's see what else. Yeah, because these pauses, I just need to watch a little bit. I'm watching the video live right now, and I'm recording over it because the audio was messed up. So let's see what I have right now. Oh yeah, for some reason there's like a ton of shims on these bushings. These are 6mm metal bushings, which seem pretty nice. This gun seemed to be shimmed quite well, but there are a ton of shims. Maybe like 7 or 8 shims on each, under each bushing. There is no factory grease. So yeah, that also is an indication that this was opened prior to when I've owned it. Let's see. From what I've heard, that the bevel, the spur gear is a version 7. The sector gear and bevel gear are version 2s and 3s. Anti-reversal latch is proprietary. Cutoff lever is proprietary, and tappet play is proprietary. That is what I've heard. I'm not completely sure about that. I will test that later on since I do have spare version 7, version 2, and 3 parts. Let's see. Okay, so this guy has maybe gotten it off somebody else, like I'm a second owner, because he said he didn't do anything to it, but yet there is, I'm pretty sure that is an upgrade air seal nozzle, because the Jin Peng ones were like a polycarbonate color, like a greenish white. There's an Echo one, like super high torque motor in there. Standard XYT gears. But what was very interesting is that there is no factory grease. This is all good lube. Or if there is any lube, there is very little lube. But there is no there's no factory grease at all. So maybe he has upgraded it himself, the owner previous to me, and he forgot to tell me about it. But you know, like, this is great. That's probably like a $30-$40 motor that I got for free. Bearing metal spring guide, 30 bucks, which I'm happy about. So, because then the original one comes with some stock polycarbonate one, but you're gonna want to get a bearing spring guide because it releases unnecessary stress and tension on the gearbox. Those seem to be the only upgrades. I'm not sure about the spring. I'm pretty sure that it's a stock spring because it's shooting at the stock FPS. Let's see. I will get to the hop-up chamber in a little bit and open it up to see if it uses standard AEG barrels. I recorded this first before taking apart the entire gun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all back together and then take it apart again and record it, so I can have a guide for you guys on how to take apart the FAMAS and see the somewhat stock internals. I can't really do a stock internals report because, you know, I thought it was stock, but I did see a little tip of red in the corner when I was taking it apart. Like, it was usually a sign of an upgrade, so I knew there was something was up with this gun. So, yeah, I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so I just tested the air compression, and it was very bad. Air was leaking around the piston head. None was leaking that I could tell from the cylinder head. So, luckily, I do have spare piston head O-rings. They are size number 14. Danco repair O-rings. These will fix it right up. And I think these are slightly bigger, so it gives it a much better seal. But that stock, I'm not sure if that's even a stock piston head, but it had a terrible air seal because when I was chronoing this, it shot 330, then 350, then 380 for one shot, and then 360, then 387. It was like a plus or minus 30 FPS variation. So hopefully with that new O-ring, I will chrono it and show you guys what's up. Okay, so I took it down to the hop-up unit and the barrel. As you can see, the nub is a 2-point contact nub for more consistency and accuracy. Very much like the Thompson by Cybergun. I will take this apart and see if it takes standard AEG barrels and buckings. Okay, so I took the hop-up unit apart. Pretty simple hop-up unit. Does have a hop-up nub in there. Right there. I don't want it to fall out. It has a standard AEG barrel, which is good because I am going to put a 650mm in there. This is an M16 length right now, 509, but I am going to put a 650 in there, and then hopefully buy type bore for it, buy a mock suppressor, because it does have 14mm negative threads. The Tokyo Marui one doesn't, but the Jinpeng one and the Cybergun one does. So yeah, and I'm planning to turn this into a DMR. Since it has a built-in bipod already, somewhat low profile, has a scope riser, so I don't have to squeeze my face under there with a sniper scope with my face mask on, and long barrel in a short package, which is basically perfect for a DMR. So yeah, I'm gonna put everything back together, and then I'm gonna take it apart again. And then yeah, I'll edit, upload it, and probably be one of the first guides on YouTube to take apart a FAMAS.